Dear students, the school is now closed and regular classes are not being held. In this case, online classes will help you to a great extent, I think. I am also trying to help you by taking such a class. Now I am going to teach you clause. What is clause? In order to know what is clause, we have to first learn what is non-finite verb and what is finite verb. Finite verb is the verb which is affected by the number and person of the subject and at the same time makes a complete sense. For example, he goes to school. Here, verb go. He, subject, he, third person, singular number. So, es is added to the verb go. That is, the verb go is affected by the number and person of the subject, he. And at the same time, go verb makes a complete sense. So, here go is a finite verb. But non-finite verb is that does not make a complete sense. That cannot make a complete sense. That is, it cannot give a complete meaning. I want to buy a pen. I want to buy a pen. Here, want, finite verb, you have already known. But buy, another verb, present form of another verb is placed after finite verb. This type of verb is called non-finite because this is really called infinitive. Present form of another verb placed after finite verb is really called a non-finite, really called not infinitive, and this infinitive is also part of non-finite verb. In another case, seeing the police. The thief ran away. Here be on plus ing. This is also another form, and this form does not make a complete sense. And the subject, the police, is not affected by this. So this is also non-finite form. Non-finite form. Instead of this, we can also say having seen the police. The thief ran away. Here, formation having plus B3. Here the meaning is same, but this meaning is incomplete. That is, this form also cannot also complete the sense. And the subject, the police, cannot affect this verb. If we change the subject, this will remain same. So this is also another non-finite form. So now we can know the non-finite form: infinitive 2 plus V1 after finite verb, and seeing V1 plus ing or having plus V3. Okay, this now see, I know the man who came here. This is a large sentence. Here, I know the man. This is a part, and who came here. This is another part. In this part, what can we see? First, I know the man. This is a group of words. That is, here there are some words, and they make a group of words. Here, no, this is finite verb. So this group has a finite verb of its own. That is, no is the finite verb. And lastly, it is a part of a larger sentence. This is a part of a larger sentence. Larger sentence, I know the man who came here. This is the larger sentence, and I know the man is a part of this larger sentence. I think you are now clear. These three things we find from this group. These are the characteristics of this part, and these three characteristics indicate that this part, I know the man, is a clause. I think you can now define what a clause is. So what is a clause? I think everybody can tell now what is a clause. A clause is a group of words. Which is a group? A clause is a group of words which has a finite verb of its own and is a part of a larger sentence. A clause is a group of words which has a finite verb of its own and is a part of a larger sentence. Okay, I think you are now clear about a clause. I know the man is a clause, we have already known, but who came here? Is it a clause? I think this is also a clause, because came here, it is a finite verb, and this is also a group of words. This is also a part of a larger sentence. That is, here we also find three characteristics of a clause. So this is also a clause. This is a clause. I know the man is a clause. Who came here is a clause. Now I know, if we separate I know the man, I know the man, if we separate I know the man from the main sentence, that is the larger sentence, it becomes a meaningful sentence. Clear? It becomes meaningful. This does not depend on any other thing. It itself can stand. It can stand by itself. So this type of clause is called principal clause. But if we separate who came here from the larger sentence, it becomes meaningless. It does not make a complete sense. It requires a interrogation mark to make a complete sense. This does not make a complete sense. It is clear. So, but if it is added to I know the man, it becomes meaningful. That is, who came here, this part, this clause depends on I know the man, this clause. So this is this principal clause. So this is called subordinate clause. Now this is called subordinate clause. This clause is subordinate clause. This clause is principal clause. Clear? This is principal clause or independent clause or main clause. This is subordinate clause or dependent clause. Now, clause is of three kinds. Clause is of three kinds. Number one, principal clause or independent clause. Or main clause. Number two, subordinate clause. Subordinate clause or dependent clause. Number three, coordinate clause. We need to learn first of these two kinds. This is not necessary for us. So now we will learn about these two kinds of clause, these two kinds of subordinate clauses. Subordinate clause is divided into three classes. Number one, noun clause. Number two, adjective clause. Number three, adverbial clause. Subordinate clause is divided into three classes: noun clause, adjective clause, adverbial clause, and these clauses are very important for you to learn. Subordinate clause is very important. Now, what is noun clause? Noun clause is the clause which does the work of a noun. Noun clause does the work of noun. So the clause which does the work of noun is called noun clause. Now we will see when noun clause becomes. There are some points one which noun clause becomes. Number one, when a clause becomes the subject of a verb. That is, the point will be subject to a verb. Subject to a verb. For example, what it says is true. Here, what it says is a clause, and this is the subject of verb. This is finite verb, and this clause is subject of finite verb is. So this is noun clause. That is the first point. When a clause becomes the subject of a verb, that is subject to a verb, it becomes noun clause. So what it says in this sense is a noun clause. Number 2.2, object to a verb. That is, when a clause becomes the object of a verb, it is said to be a noun clause. I know what he wants. That is, I know what he wants. This is the subordinate clause. And what kind of subordinate clause is it? I know. This is the finite verb of the main sentence, of the larger sentence. And I know what he wants. So this is object. So this is noun clause. Number 3, object to a preposition. When a clause becomes object to of a preposition, this clause is also called a noun clause. Here we should remember the structure: subject, verb plus preposition plus clause. This clause, this is preposition, this clause is noun clause. This is object. This clause is object to a preposition and this is noun clause. For example, it depends on how he will behave. Here on is preposition and how he will behave. This is a clause. This is a clause and this is object and noun clause. How he will behave. This is the object of preposition on, so this is called noun clause. Noun in opposition. To a noun. What is noun in opposition? We first know what is a noun in opposition. Mr. Rahman, headmaster of our school, is an honest man. Here we see that this is noun on. Headmaster, this is also noun and this is noun too. These two nouns are placed side by side, and the second noun, headmaster, gives information about noun on, Mr. Rahman. That is, we know something more about Mr. Rahman through the word headmaster. That is, noun 2 gives us information about Mr. Rahman. So this is called, this headmaster is called noun in apposition. Noun in apposition. In this is in the case of words, that is, two words are placed side by side, then we call second noun noun in apposition. But in case of a clause, we don't find this type of structure. We find that then the structure NP plus that plus subject plus main verb plus that is that clause, and that will never be a, will not be relative pronoun or subject or object. This that will never be relative pronoun, never be subject or never be object. This is like a conjunction. Here this is called that clause. NP and immediately after it that clause. This type of clause, this will explain about this NP. That is the first noun. This is first noun. And this is second noun. That is, in place of second noun headmaster, here we find that that clause. This is called noun in apposition. Now we will its use in the sentence. The news that his father is dead is false. Here that his father is dead, and the news, this is NP, that is first noun. What is the news? We can know through this part about the news. What kind of news? His father is dead. This is second noun. Second noun, here a clause. This explains the news. This gives information about the news. So this is called noun in apposition. So this is called noun clause. That is, that his father is dead, here is a noun clause. This noun in apposition, this clause may be placed at the beginning of a sentence or at the end of the sentence. For example, there is a rumor that he has left the country. That he has left the country. This is second noun. That is the clause. Noun in apposition. And this is called noun clause. Here at the end of the sentence, that is towards the end of the sentence, noun in apposition is placed, and that he has left the country. This is called noun clause because this is noun in apposition. This describes or explains about the rumor. Now, objective complement. Now, what is complement? To make the incomplete sense complete, some words are required. In this case, to complete the meaning about object, that is, there are something left incomplete about object, and then we tell something about the object more, and this makes a complete sense. For example, I told him. This is incomplete. Here is a question about him. What? I told him. What I told him about him? I told him what he wanted to know. So, what he wanted to know, this is the complement here, and this is a clause about object. Particularly, this will be indirect object, and this will be direct object. In fact, this is another object. Two objects are here. This is indirect object and this is direct object. What I told, what he wanted to know. This is also another word, another object. Direct object. This object, this is also objective complement because this may add something about indirect object and makes the information complete. So this is called objective complement, and this is noun clause. That is, in a word, indirect, after indirect object, you will find another clause that will be direct object, and this will be objective complement, and this will be noun clause. Adjective complement now. Sorry. subjective complement. Here you should follow the structure, and then it will be easy for you to find out what is subjective complement. Subject normally, generally, subject be verb plus clause. This is subjective complement. This also tells something about subject. This is related to subject. So this is called subjective complement, and this clause is called noun clause. Next, adjective complement. Here also follow the structure: subject plus be verb plus adjective, then clause. This is called adjective complement. This clause is adjective complement, so it is called noun clause. Here may be a confusion about noun in opposition and a subjective complement and adjective complement. There will be no other word immediately after that. NP that. NP that plus clause. The clause describes the NP. That is noun in opposition, but here after subject we find that there is be verb. This is the difference. Okay. And lastly, we find noun clause as a complement to it. Here also follow the structure: it is plus adjective or noun plus clause. That clause. That clause is called noun clause. This is really a complement to it. For example, it is sure that he has stolen the pen. That he has stolen the pen, this is called also noun clause. These are the 8 points on the basis of which we can identify noun clause easily. So this is all about a noun clause. Now I will declare the end of my teaching, and the next class we will discuss about other 2 kinds of clause: adjective clause and adverbial clause. Thanks, best of you. Okay, thanks.